The Israeli government is losing support because they're committing a lot of war crimes against innocent Palestinian civilians, and their allies are like, this is messed up. You can't be killing innocent people. But somehow the Israeli government finds a way to justify it.
NBC News Chief Foreign Correspondent Andrea Mitchell joins me now on set. Andrea, thank you for being here to help me digest what we just heard. You obviously interviewed Ambassador Regev earlier today, and their position is, when you press them on the civilian death toll, that yes, they agree with what Secretary Blinken is saying, that the death toll is too high, that they're trying to mitigate civilian deaths. This is the real crux of the crisis.
It's like, what, 10,000 plus civilian deaths in a matter of a month? That is a frighteningly high number of innocent civilians to be killed by a government claiming to be the good guys.
Here. It is, and I think dramatically, the problem for Israel right now is that they are going after hospitals, and targeting hospitals is a violation of international law. But as Mark Regev said, and said to me earlier, that Hamas has command and control under the Al-Shifa hospital, they say. Now, I've been told by U.S. officials that they have no independent corroboration of that they know that there is Hamas activity around Al-Shifa, but they can't independently corroborate what is Israeli intelligence claiming that. And Regev was saying to me earlier that there is a codicil in the international law that permits targeting anything where there is hostile fire coming at them. But whatever the law, I'm not an international lawyer, but what I know is that there's grave concern in the administration and elsewhere among Israel's friends, including on the Hill, that these hospital hits, ambulances, children. One hospital that I'm focusing on, and something we're reporting on, is the Rantisi Hospital, the last pediatric hospital in Gaza, which had to close late last night, overnight.
Yeah, how can a government actually justify airstriking several hospitals knowing that innocent people are going to be in those hospitals and are going to die?
Morning because of violence in the area. The last remaining cancer patients had to leave by wheelchair. Some of them were in the ICU. 15 other cancer patients, about 12 to 15, the numbers are not precise, did get out earlier this week. The first of these cancer patients to finally get out is something that NBC was working on, that I've been working on for a couple of weeks, asked not to reveal it because there were so many people involved and it was so much threat to the children. This was done with Israel helping, but also the United States came from the White House as well, from Egypt, from Palestinian relief organizations, and from Jordan. And some of these children did get out and are safely in several of the Cairo and Alexandria hospitals, and one or two kids were taken to Amman, Jordan.
Wow.
So there are a few getting out, but there are at least 30 more that I know of. I've seen lists and names.
Are people really going to try to act like every person being killed by the Israeli government is a Hamas agent? Because that's kind of how the Israeli government wants to act. They like to use the term militants a lot, a way to describe anybody that gets killed uh, in an airstrike or a drone strike or whatever, and it's a way to write it off. The United States did that a lot and still does.
That are still trapped in Gaza. And the problem for Regev and Israel is that they're losing a lot of support because of the visuals coming out of Gaza, this week and last, and the mounting death toll. And they say these are legitimate targets.
Andrea, what you're describing is a horror to think about these children who are sick and then having to evacuate, and we'll look for your full reporting on that. In terms of these humanitarian pauses, you have this discrepancy between what the Biden administration is asking for and what we're seeing happen. It's my understanding they're now about 6 hours per day, but you have a number of people within the international community calling for a days-long pause.
Well, I think the president clearly said that they want these pauses to be longer. He said that yesterday. Secretary Blinken has been telegraphing that and saying that in Tokyo and at the G7 and then in India follow-up, and he's now on his way home. So there is a real split that's developing. While they say Israel has the right to defend itself, they think these pauses are needed to get hostages out, to get aid in, and to get civilians safely removed to safe zones, if there are any safe zones, and try to get more people out of Rafah. Israel is permitting, they now say, 150 truckloads of aid in a day. It was less than that yesterday, and they say 150, according to the U.S., is the bare minimum of what's needed.
Well, I know that